The 5 goes insane as Jessica Tarlov tries to defend illegals coming over the border. Welcome to Doug in Exile. Let's get to the 5 as we unpack the losing of Jessica Tarlov's mind.
I'm getting a message from the Republican Oracle. He should resign.
Yeah, we're trying to give you a message. Listen to us. We're trying to save you, Jessica.
There is nothing President Biden could do that would appease the Republicans. It's impossible. It has to do with election season.
This is a dumb comment. She says that there's nothing that Biden could do to appease the Republicans. He could simply shut down the border.
It also has to do with blind hatred for the man and that it destroys their narrative.
The narrative that Biden is soft on the border, is that just a narrative? Jessica Tarlov, when he went through all of his presidential orders and removed everything Trump did on the border.
If he does anything that's even remotely a gesture towards their priorities, like a big bipartisan border deal, which Donald Trump told our own Laura Ingraham, of course I'm not going to support that. It helps the other guy.
Jessica Tarlov, yeah, I don't believe that you're that dumb, that you believe, that you don't understand that Trump was trolling you. He was trying to get a reaction out of you. And it worked because you took him seriously, that he merely didn't want to fix the border so he could win an election.
Jesse's right that there are a bunch of people for whom immigration is their number one issue, but they all identify as Republicans. The latest Quinnipiac poll, for instance, has the number one issue for Democrats as preserving democracy.
Given democracy is not threatened at all, and that's the Democrats' number one issue, it shows that they like being lied to and they like being delusional. And given Republicans' number one issue is the border, it shows that we're actually living in reality. Oddly enough, the Democrats say that they want to protect democracy, but we all know they want all of the illegals to vote.
Something that Joe Biden talks about a lot and obviously has a great case against Donald Trump
for. When they talk about Americans, in the latest Gallup poll, all Americans identify immigration.
Did you look
as
at the breakdown of who?
Again, if you're a Democrat and you're okay with an open border, let's hear it in the comments below. Tell me about your great plan on how great it is to overrun. I mean, is Eric Adams for an open border? Is Chicago, even the leftists that run all their community services that are being overrun right now by illegals, are you telling me they're okay with an open border? They're not telling Biden to do something about it?
No. I'm talking about Americans, Jessica.
Oh, we're not red and blue?
No, there's some Democrats that also care about immigration.
Yes, but ranking it as the number one issue and saying this is going to define the election has failed for Republicans repeatedly.
Right.
2018, the caravan started.
Trump won on immigration.
Trump is going to win again on immigration, and she is really going to change her tune when he does. She still believes.
I'm talking about 2018 and 2020 when we had these caravans, right? You remember? And then, right, they stopped because also it was an illusion that we were having a mass invasion, and people didn't like that kind of language.
The caravan naturally stopped because they were afraid of Trump on immigration. By the way, there was another thinning of that same caravan under Obama when his recession and the economy got so bad that Americans were no longer hiring illegals. Our restaurants no longer needed them. It dried the money up.
That doesn't mean that it isn't affecting liberal cities now. This Operation Lone Star, which is what Governor Abbott has done in terms of shipping migrants, has obviously made an impact. But we are not relying on the FBI data about migrant crime to say that areas that have gotten the most migrants from Operation Lone Star have lower crime rates. We have city data. And that's what NBC News did a big investigation into that and found that to be the case.
She's BSing, saying that there's not an uptick of crime in these cities where illegals are settling. You know, one crime is too many. If that was your daughter or your son.
So yes, Lake and Riley, it's a terrible tragedy, but it doesn't mean that these are all bad hombres that are coming across. I mean, he says that they're poisoning the country.
What are they here for?
To work?
What are millions of single military-aged men from China?
They're here to work, so it's okay. It's okay to be here illegally if you're here to work. No, it still isn't okay. You still got to go.
You took every one of the executive orders, you went like that. You open the door, say, this is what we wanted. So we're breaking a few eggs. We're going to figure it out. We like this open border. It's working. Our constituents likes it. We're not changing anything.
Being sarcastic here, that they won't run on that. They won't tell the truth. They'll pretend like it's about that Biden's down at the border about environment and all these other things. They will not tell the truth.
You don't like it, Republicans? Tough. vote. Just be like that. Don't go in there and be like, hey, let's talk about climate change. No.
First of all, he was talking about the Texas wildfires and thanking first responders, which he was in the local area, so that made sense.
He was in
Second
the
of all, you were
safest
making
place
the
in the
argument.
world
You
to
were
look at
making
the
the
border.
argument.
Tyrus is telling the truth. Biden was in the safest part of the border when he visited, because that's where Abbott had removed enough illegals and the number of crossings down so that it was safe for the president even to be there.
For the bipartisan border deal, though, that would
No,
put, yes, you
because
are,
there's
because
I
you
don't
need
want
more
7
no
things.
judges.
I want one bill. I'm a one bill guy.
All right.
What do you
You
mean?
want
That
to
is
stop the
one
border?
bill.
Cool. I'm not paying for Ukraine.
What is
with
your-
American
Guys,
voters.
We know the trickery of the Democrats is they're going to barely fund the border and bring in a giant pickup truck full of money for the Ukraine funding. That's where their real heart is, guys. Again, this should affect how you vote. Listen to Jessica Tarlov and listen to the BS they're slinging, and then listen to Tyrus, how he's telling the truth, and he's an honest, straight shooter. I'm dug in exile.